Push to do this a little time.
Hello and welcome everyone to Requiem Murder Hour number 46 with our exclusive Dev Talks. Yeah, hooray! I am CM AndraSyte, and with me today is
Helium
and
Varitas.
Yay! So thank you so much for joining us. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Good morning.
And good morning. Right now, we're going to start doing our Dev Talks, so we're going to be answering the questions that you submitted through the forums and other places online. And then for those of you who are in-game with us right now, we'll also be in Alban, and I'll be summoning some monsters for y'all. So if you want to head on over there to have some monster summons, we can do that as well. So I'm going to walk over probably towards the middle of Alban just so you guys can see me and all that. But in the meantime, we can start our questions.
Okay. Yeah. So this morning, as you all know, the alpha, well, I'll just do a quick little summary about what I know so far, but I haven't had time yet to really, I just started the task of going over the data from what people did on the new server to really, well, the highest level right now, by the way, is 61. I didn't put a cap on initially. I wanted to see what the progression would be in the, to look for adjustments, things that we would need to do for the new server. But at the highest level 61 over the weekend, that's about where I expected people could reach. Probably could have been, someone could have done a little more hardcore, I'm sure, but anyway. Among the players we had come and make new characters. They're going to get wiped out soon, but they understand that. Everyone knows that. It's still an alpha. Hopefully we'll, at some point this week, we'll do a couple patches on it, on the alpha, and then we will officially launch a beta probably the next week, and then after that we can fine-tune some more things. And please understand the server is yeah, I inserted new magic, already a question. People that had broken magic sticks just this morning should now look in their item wall and find the working magic sticks. Okay. Now we can move on to the questions, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. Just letting our friends know in game what's going on. Let me do one announcement, and then we can go ahead, start the questions. So our first question from Abio Elias, sorry if I say your name wrong, just let me know any corrections. So they're asking about why the job change NPC was removed so fast. Are we planning to summon this NPC in January?
No plans right now in January to summon the NPC, and the NPC was up as part of the 12 Days of Christmas event, and it was up for the last 3 days of that event, and that wasn't that fast. And there were warnings in that it was posted what the parameters of the event would be in the initial event page, saying that this is a 12 Days of Christmas event. It goes on for the 12 days, and then after that, these things disappeared. But yeah, sorry about that. There will be job change NPC again on Tree Free, of course. Not so much on new server, but on Tree Free there will be. So just either they're available all the time in the item wall, but you'll have to wait for an event purposed one. Sorry.
Hello everyone who just joined us. Just in case you just joined us, we're doing our Dev Talks today. So we have all of our questions and we're going over them right now. The next question is also from Bio Elias. So their question is, any update for the new year? More levels, new maps, new bosses, anything like that?
That's all possible for when we're talking in the scope of a year, but right now, in the first quarter, I don't have plans for more levels, new map, new boss. There are some new enchant and new weapon ideas in the works, but yeah, I don't have a lot to report there yet. But yeah, there is important new stuff in the new year. There's a whole new server, and there's new considerations going on how that's going to progress and what we're going to talk about here. Questions and answers coming up right now. So that's the new stuff.
Yes. Lots of new things. So our next questions come from, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this name very well, Ihugug.
That would be Kaz.
Yes, from our wonderful Kazara. So for the first question, will the new server have the Season 2 version of skills or new ones?
This is going to apply to a lot of the questions upcoming and this one. The new server is going to have the same skills as the existing server. Okay, so the client is going to stay the same. You're not going to need a different client for the new world. Therefore, the client settings are going to be the same between the new world and the old world. So what's different is all going to be what is set on the server side only. And basically, I can restrict a lot that way, but I can't really make a difference. Well, I could have a different set of skills in one sense. There'd have to be a whole, yeah, I don't want to get into that actually. The clients are the same. We could have basically two sets of skills so that you could have the same client and one get applied on one server and one get applied on the other server. That's a little tricky actually with the clients being the same. So we're keeping the clients synchronized. So what's available is what the difference will be between the new world and the old world.
Okay. Let me summon a few more things for our friends in game, and then we can move on to the next question. Okay. Pardon me. So for the next question, will the new server have enchants such as regals, resonators, and hearts?
Not immediately. It's possible that eventually we'll get to those things, and the idea is that by the time the level cap would be released to that point, we will have worked on those items to make them more balanced or not have them as the plan. So immediately, well, granted in the alpha we just launched with no level cap, but when we launch this official world, it's going to have a lower level cap, and it's going to be released piece by piece. So you won't see anything like the regals, you won't see that stuff immediately. You won't see it maybe for months, if ever.
Okay, next question. Let me see, I almost lost place. Okay, so will the new server have items such as enchantable costumes and the extra DNA coupons in the item mall, or will it be mostly cosmetic and bonuses?
Okay, so initially in the alpha there is no item mall. Although somebody bought something, three things were bought when there's nothing in the item mall, so I'm investigating that right now. I don't get punished for anything, but I gotta figure out how that happened. That's some of the stuff I'm doing today. But there's nothing in the item mall initially in the alpha. And then when we go into the beta, we might have a very limited selection. I might even put items up for free. I don't know what we'll do in the beta, but for testing purposes. But once we officially launch, the item mall is going to have less than the item mall on Tree Free does. It'll be more like the item mall was in Season 1. You won't have the permanent enchantable costumes yet, at least. Not sure if we'll release those on the new server or not. But it's too much of it, especially in the beginning when you first start a character out. Costumes by themselves are pretty strong, but yeah, the ones with the enchantment slots would be even stronger. We're not going to have those immediately.
Okay. Drop one more thing for our friends. We'll go on to the next question.
There will be items like the 30% EXP bonus item that's been there since the very day one. And item reduction tools and stuff like that will still be there.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of bonuses in the beginning, but not much towards enchantable things.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so for our next question, what will be the maximum reinforce in the new server? Still plus 30?
Yeah, the items as they are right now, the items remain unchanged. That may, before we go official launch, that might change. But if the items do change, keep in mind they'll change on both servers. So, yeah.
Yay.
Saw a question about Cinco in the chat there. I have to get back to you on that because those 3 pets, I haven't had the time with all the other stuff going on. I haven't had the time to go and figure out if they're working properly since they've been sealed in the item mall. They might work right now. So we'll have to take a look at those again and put them back in and I haven't decided on pets yet in the new world. So
yeah, so it seems like there's still a lot of time for input and feedback for the new world. So make sure that if you have any feedback you want to give us or any suggestions, then post that on the forums, and we'll take a look at that.
Sure.
Let's see. So next question.
Mercenaries, I think.
Yes, the mercenary question. Will the new server still have mercenaries?
I've been considering this, so I'm not going to put Lyle up in the item mall immediately. And new mercenary quests, well, the higher level ones won't be available right off the bat, so we don't have to worry about it so much. But, yeah, I haven't decided on mercenaries yet. Again, your feedback would be helpful, but I think there will be some limited mercenary ability to get NPCs, you know, summon NPCs under your control if you're not a, say, soul hunter or whatever, or a rogue. You'll still have the option to find a mercenary, but I'm not sure if there'll be reduced or limited content there yet or not. So,
Okay.
inside, there won't be a Lyle in the item all right off that.
There we go. Okay. So next question. Let's see. Will you be playing? I believe this is directed towards all of us. About the new server, will you be playing it more than the current server?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance except to log in on my GM yet. I've been logging in on my GM on and off on the new server. But once we launch official and I'm not going to wipe anymore, then I plan to make a character and play, and definitely play with you guys. I probably won't be as fast as the fastest of you, that's for sure. But I'm going to play, yeah. And there's a few people in our office here that are probably going to play as well.
Yay.
So that should be good.
We'll be joining you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So on to the next page. Woohoo! Okay. So next page for questions. Let's see. If this new hardcore server is successful, is there any hope to have any additional personnel working on Requiem?
It's really out of my power to answer that question necessarily. But certainly the new world, it offers a chance to revive the title, to get more users and therefore more people contributing to the title, and that might give us more resources in the end. I really can't say though. I would be just wild speculation on my part to say whether the company will hire another person necessarily for Requiem. I'm sure we'll get more resources though.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So Big Bubba Coon, what is it? We have some concerns about this MVC.
Yeah.
And would rather have it either reworked
on
or at
both
least
servers.
reworked.
It has to be fixed on one server, and for now, it's not spawned on the other server, so it's not there. You can't. Hey, you said something. What was that? Oh.
She's helping out in the chat right now.
Yeah, so there was no Big Bubba Coont on the new server right now, and I have to go and fix that up before it would be released on the new server. It would get fixed up for the old server too, though. This.
Okay. Okay, Lauren. For that, if you could also send in a ticket regarding it with as much details as possible to the support team, that would really help us out.
Yeah, get that bug officially reported, then I can look at it more.
Yes.
As it is, my time has to. Oh, it looks like you're gonna crash.
Oh my. We'll be right back, friends. We'll still be here, but I'm gonna put the screen on real quick just so we can log back into Requiem.
Yeah.
But yes, please make sure that you report that bug to the support team. It'll really help us out.
Because my time is really like tightly scheduled these days. I need you guys to officially report the bugs so that it can get worked into that schedule, so that I have time to look at that. I won't remember. I could just write it down or something, but then I've got a lot going on right now.
And the support team also helps to like kind of gather information regarding it and stuff. So it really helps everyone out when they get reported to the support team through ticket. Okay, but while we're waiting to get back in the game, we can look through the rest, some more of these questions. So the next question, will the new server be more about knowledge, abilities, and skills than Forge?
I was looking at Warrior Warrior's thing, and keep in mind, Warrior Warrior, that the server that launched in alpha is essentially a copy, a blank copy, but it's not going to be that way when we launch it. It'll change in the beta, and it'll be even more change in the official launch. So keep that in mind. And then I was going on to, you were asking about, well, the new server, okay, so the new server will still have the ability to improve your items at the Forge. The new server will have the same skills and necessarily and knowledge that you need in skills for the old server. So I don't know how to, yeah, your question makes a presumption about the knowledge, abilities, and skills in Forge, but yeah, all these things are important parts of the game. So.
And we're back. So it seems that at least Forge.
Yeah, Forge is going to be a part of the new server, even though that I realized didn't come until Memento Mori, or I believe it was with Memento Mori. Bloody Mare had no reinforcement system; it had enchantment and compounding. But yeah, the Forge is part of the game. It's an integral part of the game. I'm not going to leave it out, but things can be different there. We'll see how it goes, though.
And Laurent, thank you for letting me know. I'll check my messages as well once this is over. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. So since the two servers are different, could we have server v server gears to make server v server fair and balanced?
We won't see server versus server for some time. Probably not until the level caps are both yeah, that would be right now you can participate in battlefields together, but not as one server versus the other server, because that would be a crushing defeat over and over and over again for the new server. That's all you would see there. Even if I made some sort of gear to balance everyone out. So you won't see server versus server for probably at least a year. But yeah, if we make it and the new server is alive and well and we're getting closer to level cap, then we can start considering turning on server versus server again, and maybe even having something to help balance between the two servers.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah,
no problem, Laurent.
It's coming back. Server will come back.
Woohoo! Okay, so a few more things, and then okay, go on to the next question. I'm sure you guys, I'm pretty sure, okay, yeah, you have a couple dragons and stuff you guys can murder in the meantime. So, our next question. In most games, the player starts in a small map with mobs, which is where he gets the initial storyline quest and later on bring the player to the main city. And then, in the case of Requiem, Nova Lux. Any thoughts of why you changed it and the players start directly in Nova Lux?
Alright, so I want the starting point. I understand Turba Island's going to stay, and Turba Island it's a prison island. It's a place that Temperian are sent to suppress prison populations, to clear out mutated monsters that have happened to have gotten onto that prison island that would kill the prisoners that we would otherwise torture ourselves. So the Temperian are going to go to when Temperians start in Turba, it's as if they're prisoners on that island. Rather, you're going there to achieve to the ends of the people in Nova Lux that are sending you there. So basically, the Temperian are made to work for the people of Ethurgia, and they're sent out to that prison population to suppress it. So the beginning makes more. Okay, so you start in the training grounds, and I want to have a second training grounds too. Actually, I want to expand on this, and I want the second training grounds it's going to be PK enabled, but it's not going to have any necessary content. You're going to go through the original training grounds. It's going to let you out, but the second training grounds is going to be more. There's going to be different mobs. There's going to be it's going to be PK enabled. It's going to be an open map. It's going to be an interesting place, and then you're going to be able to enter it after level 1 as well. But essentially, you're going to get dumped out into Nova Lux, and the NPCs there are going to be reworked before official launch to introduce the story to you a lot a lot better, but as it was introduced in the beginning of the Turba area. And it's going to take you to Turba on your first assignments as a Temperian to go and suppress prison population and kill people and do the bidding of Azergians all over the place. So you're like this tool. But yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay, let me get rid of some of these
that'll
turkeys
be,
real quick.
Yeah, the quest that brings you to Novolux is gonna get reworked. That's part of the deal. There's a lot to do there actually in the next week.
Again, just remember everyone that this is still in the alpha stage for Eternum, and there's still a lot of time for feedback, suggestions, and for stuff to get reworked. Pardon me. I noticed that there's a lot of questions in chat right now. We do have questions that were submitted that we want to get through first.
Yeah,
and as soon as we're finished with those, we can start taking more questions for chat.
I saw your questions though.
Yes.
I've seen your questions.
Okay.
Yeah, the similarities with Tree Free are going to be more now than they will be at launch, that's for sure.
Yes.
Just to answer a lot of the questions I've seen there. So.
Yes, so don't worry. Things are
Things
going
will
to get
more and more
changed
diverge.
and adjusted.
Things will more and more diverge. And then Tree Free will also get a lot of the stuff that we end up doing. So.
The magic sticks for were just the new ones were just sent out, I believe, right? For the ones that weren't working.
Yeah, they just got sent out. You
Okay.
have them.
Yes. So
Go check your item hall. You've got new magic
that.
sticks in there. For the old ones, I'll do something with them during a maintenance period. I'll either wipe them out, or maybe you'll even get extra magic sticks because I'll convert them into the right ones. So yeah, look forward to a maintenance for the fixes on the old ones. But as far as I inserted new ones for all the ones that weren't working just today.
Okay, so let's go on to the next question then. So our next question is from Sandyman for Helium. Will you be able to fulfill some of the expectations for the new server? And I think they're definitely referencing to a topic that was started on the forums where people were putting their suggestions and feedback from what we had explained for Eternum so far before it opened.
Which I really intended to go read up thoroughly before we got in here, but I haven't yet, so.
But again, we're going to be reviewing your feedback.
Yeah, we're gonna have to answer the rest of Sandyman's questions before I get to that topic.
Yes.
It's probably a huge topic by now too.
Oh, I'm just gonna move this so that's right now you have.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, so again, the suggestions and feedback, please keep posting them. You can PM me as well with them. They will get reviewed.
Yeah, and also I should mention that the way the alpha is going to run, it's going to actually be okay. So a lot of things I see you guys worrying about how like eventually it's just going to follow the same track as the old server, but no, the reason we're having this alpha and beta is so that I can really look at it and analyze what's being done and how it can be fixed or made better. So you'll see these improvements come into Tree Free too after we've had some time in the alpha and then the beta. It's gonna allow me to see what needs fine tuning for sure. And that'll go for Tree Free as well, even though on Tree Free things are already at a point where people have existed this long, so I can't really fix it. But with the wiping and the restarting for launch on this server after I've had time to look at the data of what pumped out while the alpha was going on, is gonna help to make it so that it doesn't end up like you guys are saying, like Tree Free has, for instance. So, okay. Anyway, let's go to Sandyman's second question.
Yes. So let's go on to the next question.
Oh, this is an anonymous question.
Yes. So we have a question from Anonymous right now. Question is for Helium. First question, what can we expect with the new server? Can you reveal us some official things that will be on there? So I guess just more details. If we have any more details, we can share with everyone.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah, I have lots of details to share, but not right now in this dev talk, but we'll be sharing details as we go on the website about the new server. So, I mean, we need more specific questions than that, I'm sorry.
If you do have more specific questions, please
As
just
we-
let us know.
Except to say that things will be revealed on our website, on our social media, so look there for reveals.
Yes.
going on?
Yeah, just make sure that you stay up to date. You can follow our Twitter as well as follow our Facebook page. All the news events gets posted there as well
That's
as
where
on the
reveals.
forums if you do like participating in a forum setting.
That's where reveals will be, so look
Yes.
there.
Okay, next question. How is the new server going to work? Will we need to move our current Tree-Free characters there as there was on Nova server before, or will you move people randomly?
There will be no moving between the servers at all. They're isolated. I can answer this question pretty specifically. So, yeah, you don't need to create a new account. If you want to make new characters, you need to have an account, though, on the new server. And there's no movement between the servers whatsoever. So, eventually when we do the full launch and we promote it a little bit, I expect the numbers might get to be equal, but as of right now, as of this morning, it's say 2/3 of you are on Tree-Free and 1/3 are on the new server, which is not too bad. But yeah, it looks like a lot of the players on the new server are people testing it out from the old server, because the numbers dropped down a little bit on the old server as the new server rose up. So yeah, but that was kind of as expected. And thank you to people playing in the alpha, your help and doing things, because you're helping me to analyze this stuff. You're providing the data I need for the changes.
Yeah. So yes, again, the feedback and suggestions are very important. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. Is it possible that you could put, if you can make available an option for random revamped item that costs 25 on the item mall, that would also work with possession beast armors?
Okay, so I wasn't aware that you couldn't randomly revamp possession beast armors with something besides offered sacrifice of God. I thought that the recipes were also made for the cash version of it, but I guess not. So I don't have a decision on that necessarily, but it's possible. I just have to go look at why they only made it so that you could re-roll possession beast armors with this offered sacrifice of God. So it's possible, but I don't have any plans to do that right now.
So something possibly in the
Yeah.
future. Okay. So next question, is it possible that in the year 2018 you could give forge raids more frequently than the last year?
I don't know about more frequently, but I mean, in 2018 there will, on Tree-Free, yes, there will be forge bonuses, and they'll be pretty frequent, and that'll be great. But on the new server there won't be any, if ever, at least not now. So yeah, there won't be any of those bonuses on the new server, but on the old server you can expect them to come soon. And, yeah, and good rates too.
Exciting. So keep an eye out for those, friends. Okay, so we have our next question. I believe they're having a question whether if they had a name for their character that is similar to their friend's name, would they get in trouble for impersonation? At this moment,
So yeah.
I don't think that you would unless there is some ill-mannered activity going on.
Right, if you're trying to actually impersonate, maybe that something bad might come of it. But if your name is just like your friend's name, that's not right. If you're not really trying to impersonate anybody, you're just trying to have a similar name, that doesn't really matter. That's not against the rules.
Yeah. And sorry about that. Real quick, we'll be right back in game in a moment. But in the meantime, we can go on to our next questions as well. So the next question is there any plans on fixing the PK system, as in giving better rewards? I believe they might mean Battlefield.
Right, we were talking about that. If you mean PvP, yeah. So the rewards may, we need to have obviously new rewards up for the Battlefield, that you can spend your rewards from Battlefield on. And getting more participation in there is also important too. But we're gonna start having on the new server, once everything launches normally, we're gonna actually have hosted tournaments too on like at the end of each, basically at the end of each content release, we're gonna have, and that's something the programmer's working on right now with free battle, so that you can rejoin the free battle in progress. That'll be good. That'll make free battle useful, actually. So we're gonna have hosted tournaments using that system too at the end of the periods before we release higher level cap and new content.
Okay. Let me help out with
That'll
this.
help with participation on the battlefield. So
Okay, and we're back in game again. Let me help you guys out with these turkeys. There's a bunch that came out of nowhere. But in the meantime, we can move on to our next question.
someone probably made some.
Yes. Is it possible to share the max stats of the Thanksgiving fluids so we can see if our Thanksgiving fluids are good when we reroll in the game?
I meant to do that before the. Yeah, darn it. No, I don't have them right now. I can get those though. I have no problems with sharing those. It's content in the client that you could get otherwise. So I have no problems with sharing those stats. I have to do it after the stream though. We can post it up. Where is there somewhere you can post it up?
We can do it probably either the website or the forums, or we can probably post it on the forums, and then we can let everyone know that it's there.
Okay, we'll put it up on the forums then.
Okay.
I'll get those stats after this.
Okie doke. So we're going on to our next set of questions now. Another anonymous submitter. Questions are for Helium once more. The first question, why, I think it was a repeat of another one.
It was.
Yeah,
we went
so,
over that.
yeah, we went over why Novalox started as the start map instead of Turba.
Yeah, you still go to Turba for your low-level stuff. But as I said, it's a prison island, and Temperarians are sent there on assignments to do things. Quests, for instance. It's really, the entire island is a huge prison island. It has mutated monsters just like the rest of Ethergia on it too, though.
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you for inviting me back to the Alliance party. I'll help you out with some more turkeys as well. Okay, next question. Some skills like Elementalist debuff are a little too strong for the new server. What will you do in regards to those?
Alright, so when we actually officially launch, you won't be able to be an Elementalist actually. Those skills won't be available to you. And soon to come in the alpha, it's going to be level restricted as well, so you won't have to worry about those debuffs being too strong yet. And we can work on the skill things that'll apply to both clients along the way before those things get released, actually. So, yeah. Yeah, and I see your question there in the chat about Eternum. Well, initially, when they do start doing server battles, something like that will probably be applied. But, we're not even going to have the server battle for a while, though. Yeah.
Okay, let me summon a few more
And
things.
another question about skills coming up, I think, was about ground-based AoEs.
Oh yes, the next question.
Yeah, PvP. Yeah, the ground-based AoEs are just so good for PvP, but when they're stationary and they're placed and they have long cast times, ground-based AoEs can be. I mean, you can work a little strategy to not lose to them. They are high-powered skills, but I don't know that they're the biggest problem when it comes to skills. So the skills are going to be the same between the clients. So, but what's available in the initial, you won't have second job skills at official launch of the new server. So I won't have to worry about that for a little while.
Okay.
And the new server. Okay, so the next question though is new server. Is it going to be only PvE or is it PK enabled? Now PK is enabled. Not gonna have it enabled on any field maps as of yet. Gonna have it basically enabled on 2 open dungeon maps only. So it's gonna be really limited to where you can PK. Otherwise, it's off. But it's available on the server, so that there will be areas where we can designate where PK is enabled. So basically, you go in there, you should know what to expect.
Okay. Sounds good. So let's move on to our next question. Long duration CC effects. Any future fix about them for more fun fights?
Yeah, that goes along with the same as the other questions about debuffs being too strong and stuff. That goes in with the skill balance issues that we have to address before those skills become available on the new server. So, yeah, and those changes go for both clients. So that needs to be worked on, definitely going to work on that. Yeah, having the longest duration CC things are something we're looking at right now too for possible changes.
Again, any feedbacks or suggestions that you guys have is highly appreciated and we're welcome.
And then the next one, it's another question of class balance and such.
Okay.
And the 3 classes they mentioned there happen to be some of the ones that apart from Dominator having OP item setups, Ranger, Dominator, and Avenger are some of the classes that need a lot of the help when it comes to skill balance. So I'll say that, but other than that, we have a lot of work to come there.
Okay. So let's go on to our next page of questions. Oh, actually,
that's it for the questions.
That's it for the questions on the forum. So again, if you guys have any questions in chat, I know that you guys have been submitting them. Feel free to submit them now. We will answer as many as we can in the time that we have left. And then again, if you just joined us, hello GamesMods, thank you for joining. We're also in Albound right now if you want to hop in game with everyone, and we're summoning some monsters, some boss monsters for everyone to enjoy. So we have a first question from chat.
What's that?
How are we planning to balance between the 2 servers?
Balance between the 2 servers?
Yes.
Well, there won't be any interaction between the 2 servers, but and I'm not sure.
His concern is because the other one is, so far advanced with a lot of broken items. People have basically figured out how to, cheese their characters, whereas since the other one is starting out hardcore, the concern came up when it was mentioned server versus server battles.
Yeah, there won't be a server versus server battle in the beginning. Yeah, the battlefield is the only interaction, but you can't interact items that way. And server versus server won't be enabled for some time. So the way we can stop things from happening on the new server that you guys don't like that are happening on the old server is that we're going to release it slowly and bump the level cap up slowly and keep it to the point where where before we release the content that would be broken, there's time for us to analyze it, and based on your feedback and such from the old server, it can be restricted or not released on the new server. So, yeah. Yeah, in that we do it slowly so that we can look at what we're going to release before it gets released. Now, right now, everything, granted, on the alpha, I wanted everything to be open because I wanted to really give you guys a chance to show me how fast you can level and what things are broken already that need to be fixed before it's official.
So Katie had a question about one of our ongoing events.
Katie had lots of questions, I saw a few of them.
Yes, but for the current share event, since tomorrow is Wednesday, that's when we will check. Again, we will have to go through, and the system will have to go through to make sure that the entries are all valid. If they're not valid, then they do have to be removed, unfortunately. But we'll get a final count for that tomorrow, and we'll post that up on the forums as well as to what tiers were hit. CM Varitas is here. She's just hiding from everyone. She's in the background.
I'm mostly maintaining
she's
chat
right
while AndraSyte, wreaks havoc in the game.
Yes. Almost Game Mods. It is kind of like a super boss event that is in Rose. We have a bunch of boss monsters being summoned. But we're also doing a Requiem dev talks right now. So any questions for the game, we're answering them right now. They always did need to be verified, Katie, as part of the event. But if you do have more questions about it, feel free to PM me. I can help you with that. Okay. And if anyone else has any more questions for us, feel free to ask. In the meantime, we're just going to be summoning more and more. Have some more bosses for you. I'm going to drop some more Rune Horns for you guys, and probably some more Lord 300s in the meantime. But do we have any more, maybe more info, any new things we can share with our friends about Eternum or anything like that? In the meantime, we'll wait for some more questions.
Oh, I really just, I haven't had, this morning I started to gather the stats to really go over the data to analyze it and to figure out what I'm gonna do before the first alpha wipe and starting over with better things set. So, yeah. There were a bunch of questions that went by up there that we should go look through.
Let me see if I can grab some of them from now. Yes. Oh my goodness, there's lots. Yes. Keeping y'all up with all the bosses, all the monsters in game, all the fun things. Okay. So if we can, let's see if we have some more questions. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. In the meantime, I will summon a bit more.
Huh.
Let me get some more Lord 300 for you guys in there. Oh my goodness, I am so slow now.
There's gonna be dragons.
All the dragons.
The dragons are well, I mean, in the new server too. One of the first raid bosses is Rune Horn. That's definitely part of the game.
I don't see any more turkeys, friends.
Premium. I did add the premium for winners. The most recent screenshot winners. You had another set of them, didn't you? Or did I already get that one?
You said that you had already gotten that one. So premium. If you were a winner in one of the last screenshot contests, prizes were sent out. And also, we should be starting another screenshot contest soon. So just keep an eye out again on Facebook. Keep an eye out on our Twitter. Excuse me.
Then too for the last one, right?
Yes, and
yeah, I think I'm caught up with that.
Yeah. And once those go up, we'll announce those as well. Drop more dragons for you, friends. And in the meantime, let's scroll up a little bit more.
There are a couple other ones let's see.
And again, friends, if you have any more questions, feel free to submit them.
Oh, yeah, Zakat is Valdez. Ugh.
Okay. You guys have so much fun attacking me, so I think I will drop more dragons for you, friends. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the maintenance will occur tomorrow as our usual schedule. So tomorrow should start around 1 o'clock. And during that time, we will also tally up all the entries for the share event as well. And then I can get the final count for you guys for the entries in which tiers get unlocked during that time as well. Get that posted so you know where you're at. I'm sure you guys have had a bunch of entries already, which is great. You guys are killing the event.
Yeah.
Off we go. You guys took down that Voxion already? Good thing I did another one. But again, if you have any more suggestions or feedback that you'd like to submit, make sure to head on over to the forums. You can either PM me regarding it, or you can also post it under the correct section. You can make a new topic, or there is a topic that already got started that you can add to as well. Oh my goodness, I will be right back, friends. We'll still be answering questions, but in the meantime, I'm going to be trying to get back into game for you guys. So we do have a question about PvE and PvP balance for the new server.
He's not saying anything specific. So
yes.
remove everything that Alteris and I have done. Oh, that made PvE a joke and PvP balance ruined. So you have to clarify which of the.
If you give us some specific examples
more specific there.
Of like
I want
items
you
or
to play
something like
Kaz,
that.
But you're not being very helpful there. You're divide these things. Regals and stuff like that we already went over, so that's not going to be there initially, and we can talk about more how, you know, before they get released, we can talk about either making them more reasonable or just not releasing them at all on the new server. So these things are not in concrete yet. They're not totally decided yet because we have time. The way and that's how it's designed. We're gonna release it in stages. Like initially, this is nothing like it's going to be when we launch. But when we launch, we're going to release it in stages so that we have time to look at what's coming before it comes.
Yes.
And there won't be very many events on the new server. There will be events on Treefree still, but a lot of the new events will be either limited or not occur on the new server necessarily. Yes.
Let's see. There's one more question. When will you include your rates on the results of voting? If you could clarify real quick which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the share event? Just let me know. If it is about the share event, then tomorrow during maintenance we'll be doing. I'll be updating what tiers were unlocked, and during maintenance. Rewards should go in, or will you be able to?
I can put the rewards in during maintenance.
Okay, so rewards should also go in during maintenance tomorrow. So I'll have all those updates for you tomorrow for the share event. But if you're referring to something else, please just let us know.
So the level cap stuff won't be released for a very long time on the new server. So that's pretty simple. There won't. That stuff, if it is ever released on the new server, won't come for more than a year. You're looking more than a year out. So you're not going to see any NBC weapons. You're not going to see any of the broken enchants like Regals. And you're not going to see any of the darkest armors. That stuff is not going to be there. We may get, like, yeah, you're looking at ET coming after many months. We'll release up to that point, and those things will become available. But, yeah. That'll give us the time to look at the other stuff, and it can be balanced before, if I do plan to release it, it'll have to be changed before it gets released. So, yeah, that's it.
Again, feedback and suggestions are still very welcome. There's still a lot of time for things to be looked over, reviewed, and I believe the intention is to adjust things and stuff.
Right, the intention is to fix it so that it's... The old server's going to get these fixes too, though, and it may mess some things up. It may fix some things, but one way or the other, we're going to look at what was better, what was a better idea, how to do it the right way, and then do it that way on the new server. But guess what? The old server is going to get those changes as the new server does. But it's just going to, yeah, it allows it to be sectioned up and dealt with in chunks easier than all at once.
I think the important thing to really clarify is there's a lot of talk about these hardcore items, but from what Helium is trying to say is a lot of these items won't be in the game until far late, like a year and a half from now. Now I see that Katie has also mentioned
in the alpha and beta, it is essentially like a test server. Yeah, it's going to be like that for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, it's just a test. When we launch it official afterwards, it's still going to be in a sense a test, but it'll be it won't feel so much like a test, but
it's an alpha.
Yes.
Right.
So,
right now we're an alpha.
You know, one of the reasons why we have the item mall closed is at the end of it we're going to wipe everybody and everyone will have to start over again. This is just, you know, if you guys have some time, go in and try and break as many things as possible and tell us what's broken.
Yeah, do that.
I mean, that's, you know.
There is no way to transfer one way or the other.
No.
Right.
So the
for
whole
characters.
point of this is players, especially new players, get to start from the beginning. They have just as much chance as anyone else, because right now one of the biggest issues, they're not big issues, it's cool but also a problem if you're a new player, is you go into a game where people are already level 90 or
It's all built up.
you know, and they're you know, all these builds. But this will allow them to start over, start from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen, so.
Yes.
The transfer thing's not happening. But yeah, pets and enchantable costumes on the new server in the item mall, not initially, not at all during alpha or beta. But then when we officially launch,
Yeah,
I haven't decided on pets, but the enchantable costumes won't be in there. Things like that. You will have item mall items like there have always been. Those ones will be there.
And then Game On's, you can totally send suggestions to me on Twitter. You can do that, or you can send it to the forums. Either one. I'll review them as soon as I get a moment.
Well, Kaz, in regards to your question, that is something then that we will have to look into. I mean, at some point, a lot of players are going to get to the point that they are in now, and that, you know, you guys are all high level, you've done everything in the game, and we want to give you guys something to do. Now, that will take a while in the new server, but, you know, a lot of these issues that are always brought up are something that we'll have to re-examine, and luckily we have at least a year and a half to re-examine.
Because I think as was previously mentioned, some people I feel like may have missed, the content's going to be released in episodes.
Right.
So not
That's
everything's going to
episode.
come out at once.
Yeah, and once the servers finally are at the same cap and both of them have gotten balancing patches along the way, then we can consider actually to a game that isn't as unbalanced and broken, that then there can be new content released on both servers to expand the game from a less broken point than it's at right now.
Okay. Yeah, Katie, I get what you two are both saying now. I said this is something that, you know, is a discussion topic. And we'll have to truly look into what you guys are saying and then see how we can balance the new server.
Yes.
Right.
But the important thing is, I mean, it is just supposed to be a harder server. We're not going to give EXP bonuses. We're not going to give any major things that we do on the new server. So hopefully it'll be more of a challenge for you guys.
Mm.
And yeah, that's the point, Katie, is we want to bring back the grind.
There's gonna be a grind. Not as much for leveling though. Like you're gonna
Kill
have
the
to.
assassin already. Is there an assassin in the game right now?
I don't know.
Oh.
There's so many people just attacking me. It
My computer
happens.
stopped. Okay, I need to turn on my Twitchy so I can see it.
No, you're gonna have to grind out your items. You're gonna have to grind out your gear on raids and stuff, and you're gonna have to group. There's gonna be chase sanctum parties again. It's gonna be like it was.
We definitely want to make it harder.
And yeah.
And that's why it is one of the reasons why the season versus season just can't happen yet. I mean, for a lot of the same reasons Kaz said, is right now a lot of those characters, the old server will kick the new server's butt because they'll have all the new fancy
Right.
stuff. So
Right.
you know, and that's again something we'll have to truly fully develop as we get closer.
Yes. But again, that's why feedback and suggestions are so important. So if you do have any more suggestions, of course we're reading them right now, but if you do have any later on, you can always post them through the forums, you can PM me about it, all that fun stuff, and we'll look over all the suggestions and recommendations you guys submit.
To kill that.
Yeah, well, and that is one of the things we've talked about over and over again, cause just going back to your question about how, you know, mobs aren't as tough as they used to be. Oh, did someone say something?
Someone's being a jerk.
I think being mean. Stop
Yes,
that.
don't be mean.
No, I can get you killed.
Alright, So,
actually.
but I know one of the things we've discussed, and it's been really a matter of trying to get the game to work with us, is making bosses and NPCs much more challenging. There are certain constraints that we have. I know that Helium has talked about trying to rescript some bosses to make them a little more difficult, a little more challenging, as opposed to the way it's kind of going right now, where, you know, players are able to one-shot and, you know, entire mob bosses.
Or they're soloing raids.
Yeah, they're soloing raids. We definitely want to make it more challenging as opposed to just raising everyone's hit points. You know, it's like, yeah, we can add points and it might make them slightly harder, but it's not going to make it fun or challenging.
I remember big parties doing Lord Vernon.
Yes, yes.
I remember getting my Waranuman helm for my, which one was it? Devil? I can't remember the name of the one I got. It's not the horned helm, it was the other one. Anyway, it was for my mystic. It was great. I had a set of sealing armor, but then I had just the headgear was different.
We definitely want to do more for partying. I know that is something that Helium has discussed in the past, is maybe having specific quests or events that require you to party.
Yeah, well, there's supposed to be, all the dungeons have required parties, but there's ways people get around that. They join in a party and then they break out, and then, yeah, anyway. We're looking for more content that has party requirements, but it's hard to enforce those sometimes.
Okay. So if you guys have any last minute questions you want to have answered or have us talk about real quick, make sure to let us know now. We're about at that time where we're going to have to end, unfortunately. So make sure you get in your questions before we leave. Oh my goodness. And I'll summon a few more things for you guys just to make sure you guys have lots of fun after we have ended as well. You guys destroyed that box down already. You guys are crazy awesome.
There's just dragons everywhere.
There's dragons everywhere for everyone. Okay.
Dragonlark would be very happy.
Dragonlark would be so proud to see all the dragons everywhere. I'm going to drop a few more for you friends, but in the meantime, I will not forget about the entries. In the meantime, we're probably going to have to wrap this up, unfortunately. If you do have any more questions, or you weren't able to get your questions answered, make sure you can PM me. You can put it up on the forums, and we'll do our best to answer it there as well.
Next murder hour, I can squeeze in a few of those leftover things. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we can also answer some more at the next murder hour, which should be in 2 weeks, I believe. But once I get the actual date hammered out, I will post it on social media and all that fun stuff. So make sure you follow our Twitter, our Facebook, and if you do like forums, we do have our official forums where we do announce all the events in live streams. So thank you again for joining us. I'm CM AndraSyte.
I'm Helium.
I'm CM Varitas.
Thank you again, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.